Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. From today, we are going to start the syllabus review. First of all, let's have a look at the aims of this subject that we have, English language 1123. The aims describe the purposes of a course based on this syllabus. The aims are to enable students to do what? So, there are 5 things that we expect our students to do after mastering this subject. First of all, read a wide range of text fluently and with good understanding, enjoying and appreciating a variety of language. Second thing that we expect from you is read critically and use knowledge gained from wide reading to inform and improve their own writing. Third thing is that write accurately and effectively using standard English appropriately. Fourth purpose is work with information and ideas in language by developing skills of evaluation, analysis, use and inference. Last aim is acquire and apply a wide vocabulary alongside a knowledge and understanding of grammatical terminology and linguistic conventions. This is basically something that we expect from our students, that after studying, after mastering this 1123 English language O levels, they must be able to do all these 5 things. These are general aims of this subject that they study. Now, today we are going to make a kind of a syllabus review of P1 only. So, what do we have in P1? All candidates take paper 1. Time is 2 hours. Reading paper, that weightage of the paper is marks, that is weightage is 50%, because paper 1 50%, paper 2 50%, it makes it 100%. Paper 1 reading has 50 marks. Structured and extended writing questions. Questions are based on 2 reading texts externally assessed. Questions are based on 2 reading texts. So you all know you have text A and text B in paper 1. Now, what are the assessment objectives? AO means assessment objectives. So AO1 means assessment objectives of paper 1, that is reading paper. That is also called component 1, that is reading component of your paper. There are 2 components in your paper. One is reading and second is writing. So what are assessment objectives AO of paper 1? Candidates, the first we discuss the aims of this paper, the aims of this subject overall. So we expect our students that by the end of this course they must be able to achieve these aims that we have here. We have just discussed them. Now, as far as paper 1 P1 is concerned, reading paper is concerned, what is our expectation? What are we going to assess them for? Reading objective number 1 is that students should demonstrate understanding of explicit meanings. Reading objective number 2 is that demonstrate understanding of implicit meanings and attitudes. Explicit is something that is clearly written in the text. You read it, you find it. Demonstrate understanding of implicit. Implicit means something that is hidden, that is between the lines. You read it, you infer it, you understand it, and then you just tell yourself, you try to make things from yourself after reading or after getting the feel of the whole text. R3 is that analyze, evaluate and develop facts, ideas and opinions using appropriate support from the text. This R3 is this is the reading objective that we use for summary writing. First 2 are that we use for question number 1, comprehension task. Now R4, demonstrate understanding of how writers achieve effects and influence readers. This is objective that we use for question number 2, that is use of the language task. So use of language task, students must show that they understand writer's effect. Then R5, select and use information for specific purposes. that is also for summary writing task. So these are five objectives, five reading objectives that are related to reading paper. Now there are two writing objectives also. Okay, we will discuss them later, that we have to use in summary task. Now look at this. Assessment objectives as a percentage of each component. Assessment objectives AO1 reading, paper 1. So in paper 1, you are going to be assessed for reading, that is 80%. And you are going to be assessed for your writing skill, that is 20%. And whereas in writing paper, you are going to be assessed for your reading 20%. And we do this in directed writing task when we read two text and then come up with the selection of the text. And in writing paper, you are going to be assessed for your writing skill, that is 80% of the time. 80% weightage has been given to writing skills in writing paper, and 80% weightage has been given to reading skills in reading paper, and 20% writing skills in reading paper, where we have to write the summary and we have to write the summary with correct grammar, spelling and punctuation. And in writing paper, 20% has been given to reading. There what students have to do, students have to select and use the content of directed writing, the two texts that are given for writing a letter, an article, a report, speech or email. Next, now in reading, we have just discussed this. In reading, what actually we want our students to do: demonstrate understanding of written text and the words and phrases within them, summarize and use material for a specific context, develop, analyze and evaluate facts, ideas and opinions, demonstrate understanding of how writers achieve their effects and influence readers, select appropriate information for specific purposes, recognize and respond to linguistic devices, figurative language and imagery. Next, now to develop reading skills, students should engage. Now, how can, sometimes today even a student was talking to me, he was saying that how can I build up my reading skills, or how can I build up my vocabulary? So you can improve it, you can make it better. So there are a few points here. To develop reading skills, students should engage with a range of genres and text types from the 20th and 21st centuries, including literature, fiction and non-fiction. You must read, you must find ways to engage with all these things so that you can improve your reading skills. Other forms of reading should include blogs, essays, reviews, articles, short stories in their entirety, or extracts from a longer work of prose or drama. Learning should include focus on a writer's use of language and style and the ways in which writers achieve effects and influence readers. Students should study how influence may include effects, ideas, perspectives, opinions and biases. So if you read something, if you read a text, you read a novel, you read a book, while keeping all these points in your mind, like what are those points? How the writer influences the readers, how facts, ideas, different perspectives, opinions, different biases have been used in the book or in the novel or whatever you are reading. So if you want to improve your reading skills, these are the things that you are supposed to do. Now let's start with the details of the assessment, or I think I should stop here, and this video is fine as far as we have discussed the aims, we have discussed the aims, we have discussed the assessment objectives, we have discussed the weightage. Now I think we should start. I think this length is enough. I'm going to start the details of assessment in the next video. Okay, take care. Allah Hafiz.